And I'm joined by Brent Stewart as well as Elizabeth VonCannon, and I want to talk about the valuation of scarring, for example. If there is how is scarring valued when it comes to a case like this?
Scarring is a really hard one to deal with because nobody wants a scar and everybody thinks a scar is terrible, but truth be told, a scar on you and me, us ugly guys, is worth a lot less than on Elizabeth. So there are a lot of factors that go into scarring.
Yeah, if it's a comp case, it would go into the rating that you get at the end of the day, but you know, it depends on the circumstances of the case, how visible it is, that kind of thing.
Technically with workers' comp, the scar, if it's not visual or affects your job, is technically not worth any money. And at that point, then you want to look at the scar and see if it has it done any type of nerve damage? Is there a loss of impairment to the skin? But a scar on your ankle, if you're a lawyer, so you've gotten a car wreck as a lawyer, that's not worth a lot of money because it doesn't affect your ability to do your job. Under workers' comp, the first thing I think about is how does this injury affect my ability to work or get back to work? That's the biggest premise for a comp case. An auto case, it can be more just visual. How does it affect how you feel in a swimsuit? How does it affect your confidence with your face? Like, that's the difference between the auto and the comp.
So, and then the difference then between the impairment and an actual disability to be able to explain to clients would be what?
Well, I think like an impairment rating is a reflection of disability. And disability means inability, in a workers' comp setting, disability means an inability to work or earn the same wages you were earning at the time that you were injured.
An impairment is basically what the doctor will go into the AMA guidelines and they'll set out the impairment to your body. So if your arm is 100%, the doctor will come out and say he suffers a 10% loss based on the AMA guidelines. Now that 10% loss has a different disability factor based on each person. So I like to say a pianist, if you lose a finger, that is 100% disability, even though it might only be a 10% impairment of a loss of your finger because you can't do your job. A loss of a finger to a lawyer would be maybe a 1% impairment because it doesn't really affect your ability to job. Maybe it does a little bit if you do keyboard work or you're typing out papers or whatever. If a lawyer loses their voice, that's 100% disability because we have to yak, keep talking. Disability is the impairment and how that impairment affects each person different by their job or other aspects of their life.
Brett, Elizabeth, thanks. Look, at the end of the day, it's about having the right people in your corner to fight for the right results.
This segment of QC Life was sponsored by Stewart Law Offices.